To get up with tremendous Trae. Oh, what a night for this superstar. He put on a show. You'll see it all right off the top. Man, did you hear what Steve Kerr said about KD and MJ? Is it possible he was right? The debate is on, and we'll have it here. Plus, if we're talking about it, you know they're talking about it. How Aaron Rodgers' future figures to distract the pack. All that and a whole lot more. We're getting up with you, starting right now on a Thursday. Plus, Tom Brady, you won't believe what he said on national television last night. We're getting it ready. We'll have it coming for you here in just a matter of moments. Greeny ready to go on this Thursday. Football crew is standing by and ready to go. Kimberly's got lots of news. The big swagoo is ready to talk hoops as well. And Rob Ninkovich has flowers instead of him sacking Russell Wilson behind him. It threw me off. But we must begin with the performance of the night. A performance for the ages in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Bucks, Hawks in Milwaukee. Trae Young and company trying to pull off another upset, and his swag was on full display early. Look at this. Oh, he's throwing it up off the backboard for one of his 11 assists for John Collins. But wait, you're looking for swag? Here we go. Young crossing over Holiday. Wait for it. Oh, the shoulder shimmy. You need to see it again as he knocks down the three. Take another look. Trae Young, you got to be kidding me. Knocking it down, feeling it. And Giannis is making sure his teammates are well aware of it, but they couldn't stop it. Now we go 3.5 minutes to go in what was a really good game. Hawks are down 5, but Trae Young not giving up. Hold him in. How does that go in? Young 17 of 34 from the floor. Hawks down by 2 after he made the foul shot. 2 minutes to go. Bucks up 2. Drew Holiday throwing it up. Giannis throwing it down. He had 34. Milwaukee a 4-point lead. Under 40 to play. Hawks down 1. Young, no. Clint Capella, one of his 19 rebounds, and he puts it up and good. Hawks take a 1-point lead. Ensuing Milwaukee possession. 30 seconds to play. Where do they go for a bucket? That's been their big question mark in the playoffs. They swing it around. That's a good look for Pat Connaughton, but it's no good. It's an air ball on the 3, and they save it, and it's Trae Young who comes away with it, and the Hawks are starting to sense it. 4.5 seconds to play. Bucks inbounding, down by 3. That's Middleton. That's a tough look, and it's no good. And the Hawks steal home court advantage. They win Game 1, 116-113. 48 points for the superstar, Trae Young.
It was special. I wanted to achieve things like that when I was a rookie. Coming in to achieve an accomplishment like that, it's a great accomplishment for our team and for the city.
You got to make it as tough as possible for him. And make it play a lot of one-on-one. But at the end of the day, like, he had 48 points. 48 points, like, he's a great player. He has the ball a lot in his hands, but we just got to make it as tough as possible.
I mean, the performance is the stuff of legend. The 48 tying LeBron for the most points by a player at the age of 22 or younger in a conference final. LeBron had his 48 against the Pistons in Game 5 of the 07 Conference Finals. He scored the final 25 points of that game. That was a legendary performance, and maybe someday we'll look back on this one as a legendary performance as well as we get the conversation started. Vince Carter gets up early with us. The coach, PJ Carlissimo, ready to go. Vince, I'll start with you. Just through a superstar's eyes, what are we seeing right now in 22-year-old Trae Young?
We're seeing confidence. Yes, you say swag. Yeah, we saw the shoulder shimmy. We saw Mark Jackson do it. We saw Steph Curry do it. And they all had swag and confidence. And that's what you're seeing with Steph Curry. You have to give the Hawks organization a lot of credit. Why do I say that? Because now they're putting Trae's abilities on display. We know he can shoot the ball. We know he can pass the ball. And now we know he can shoot the floater. So what do you need to add to that? Well, you need a great pick and roll player and a lob threat. They have that. You need shooters around him so Trae can have an open floor. You have that. And of course, with all that, he gets into the paint and he makes the right decision. So this is what you're seeing, and this is what he's had from day one, but now it's on full display.
That's a really excellent description of a well-built team, and since the beginning of March, their record is as good as basically anybody's. PJ, Trae Young, 22 years old. What are you seeing?
Incredible talent and a lot better than I realized, frankly, Greeny. You know, it's funny. Vince probably can't relate to it because he's been right from the beginning on the big stage. Trae Young, even though he was in our league, didn't have a lot of national exposure. And guys can say, well, it's not this, you know, it's not a big, it is a big deal. If you're playing on Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, it's huge. This is the third straight series. They've won their first game on the road, the Atlanta Hawks, and he's the primary reason. even to be in the third straight series when you start on the road each time is a strong statement. He's loving the fact that he's in the spotlight, but he is just messing with anybody that's trying to cover him, and that pick and roll that Vince talked about is impossible to defend.
Look, when he was a freshman at Oklahoma, go ahead, VC, go.
I want to add to that, and if you noticed how he went about things in this series, it was a little different. In the first two series of the game ones, he was assisting, getting guys involved. He was ultra aggressive in this game one series, and he just started scoring, and then things opened up because if you notice, and I'm sure we'll talk about the pick and roll defense, you see Brook Lopez is just lagging back, so he took advantage of it, and the opportunity was there. So he's making the right reads, and that's what I noticed more than anything. Earlier, teams put more focus, so he moved the ball. Other guys are hitting shots. Second half, Trae took over. This series, game one, he took over from start to finish.
Yeah, PJ has some tape on the pick and roll, Vince, that we're going to get to at the bottom of the hour, so we'll get a good look at exactly how they're utilizing that. But PJ, you mentioned that it's been a bit of a coming out party. Going back to his freshman year at Oklahoma, people have sort of referred to him as the next Steph Curry. Is that the comparisons are they come for obvious reasons? Do you see it now as he develops into what he is becoming?
A month ago, I would have laughed at that statement and said that's ridiculous. Has not been in the playoffs. Yes, he was an all-star in 20. I'm not laughing anymore. I don't think you compare anybody to Steph Curry, what he's accomplished. Trae Young has just blown me away, and frankly, the three coaches trying to defend him right now. It's amazing what he's doing on this stage. When he was a freshman, you talk about Oklahoma, he's the leading scorer in the history of the Big 12. And he led in points and assists, which no one had ever done in college. I didn't realize that. He led the country in points and assists. The things he's done, if you read his credentials, you got to kind of look in the mirror, as I should, and say, how did you not realize this kid was this good? He's amazing, and we may someday say, guess what? Let's compare him to Steph Curry.
It sort of feels like the way we judged Curry or the way we viewed him when he first came in and the questions coming out of Davidson. One more for you, Vince, and we'll have plenty more on this as the day goes. But just can you describe the swag? Did you ever throw an alley-oop pass off of the backboard the way we just showed? Or the shoulder shimmy obviously is reminiscent. How would you describe the swag?
Maybe so. I've never really thrown like this. I was usually on the receiving end. I've made a few and I've missed a few dunks off the backboard that I wish I could have back. And the first thing I thought about is when he threw the ball off the backboard was when I missed the dunk in college versus Duke. But I tell you what, like Trae, his vision, his confidence. I mean, we talked about Steph Curry. That's someone he looked up to, and you can tell he patterned his game after him. But there's a lot of guys that he enjoyed and watched. But Trae right now, he believes. He believed when he walked in the door. We had to say, hey, young fella, earn your stripes, take your time. But this is what he's wanted from day one.
I feel like I need to say again, he's 22 years old. These guys are coming back in just a few minutes. Sit tight, fellas. But let me get to the NFL.